Good day everyone, I am Lani Kim Archie and I will be discussing the 5 topics in the prelim coverage, which are the biographical sketches of Jose Rizal, Rizal's pragmatic education, travels, frustrations and disappointments, an exiled life, and justice in death. So the first topic is the biographical sketches of Jose Rizal. This topic will be explained through microscoping mode. This mode will help us understand better about Jose Rizal's personal information as well as my own self-reflection. I think that basing on Rizal's astrological sign and its meaning, it really does prove that he is an ox and he is caring, kind, logical, and because he also follows logical and common sense, which makes him really an intelligent person, and I commend him for that. I also felt inspired when I learned and read his achievements and his qualities. It makes me to be a better person, or at least do something that would help me in the future. Rizal does a lot of things within his 35 years of existence, and it is very motivating, and I highly praise him for that because it is indeed what makes him a national hero. To me, he is a human filled with knowledge, skills, innate talent, and most importantly is that he strives to learn and do more. To emphasize that, when his sisters bullied him for being thin and disproportionately big-headed and frail, he became insecure, but he did not even use his appearance as an excuse to give up, but instead he did other things to improve himself. His dynamic makes him find other better things than others. Though his intellect is innate, the environment and his experiences has proved how helpful and influential it is to grow up the way he did. Therefore, all of his achievements were a combination of privilege and intellect. It is very honoring to learn a person like him because it gives motivation and inspiration to people and youngsters to be like him in some ways, especially on how talented he is and hardworking, and always wanting to learn more, which is really important. As a student, knowing Rizal's achievements, skills, talents, and qualities makes me think that I am so naive and has less knowledge. But just like Rizal, the positive thing about knowing your weakness, insecurities, and lackings is that you strive to be something more. You will become eager to learn more and not just stay static but dynamic. Whether you are born fortunate or has innate talents, what's important is that you are willing to learn. You are open for change because you have this quality. That's when you start to learn and be a better you. That's what Rizal's life and this material taught me and made me realize. And these things are not just applicable in this subject, but also in the future because it is endless. Learning is endless. The next topic is the Rizal's pragmatic education, and this will be discussed through microscoping mode, including what he learned in those schools as well as his struggles about his allowance and the reasons why he went home. As a student, I wasn't really given an opportunity to read books, do a lot of helpful things, or learn things because of our lack of resources. We were so poor back then. In contrast to Rizal's childhood, he's been given all he needed to learn, which is, I think, his upper hand. I learned that learning is everywhere, not just in books, but also in people that you meet every day, by talking to them. Just like what Rizal did in almost all of the people he meets, he learns people's ideas, perspective, and opinions about the things and the society. Rizal's novel, namely No Limit Tangere, is a really good novel for it showed and mirrored how the friars in the Spanish era ruled the Philippines and in a really bad way. If I were Rizal, I would also despise those people and their wrongdoings, hypocrisy, and abuses. This is why reading that book is important for Filipinos to learn and travel back in time to experience the events of history firsthand, to know how the Philippines was back then, and to gain knowledge so that we can be a better citizen in our country. Rizal's education taught and molded him to become a really skillful and knowledgeable person, as well as being independent. It is a really good quality of a person to know various things. Fortunately, he had work and eagerness to learn. Given that he is provided with what he needs, he didn't just sit down and be grateful for it, but took advantage of everything in a really good and prideful way. I also realized just how important all these recreational activities to our life, especially the holistic point of view that was taught to Rizal by the people he met, that it is important to think freely and observe the world and learn how it runs because the world is so big and there are lots of people that you will stumble with. And knowing how to adjust and adapt to new environment and society is crucial. It helps us survive and once again learn and discover new things. The third topic is the travels, frustrations, and disappointments of Rizal. This will be discussed through mirroring mode. When Rizal came back to his family and reunited with them, I admired how Rizal cared about the people when he established a clinic to give people a free access and service, especially the poor. It is, it is just sad that even if he helped those people, because of the threat to the lives of the people who comes close to him, they prefer to not approach him. Also, how his existence is always followed and spied by his powerful enemies. It feels like he doesn't have that freedom and it's so disappointing and frustrating, but it is understandable knowing he does a lot of things. I also agreed to Rizal saying that America provides a country to the poor looking for work because America indeed gives a lot of opportunities to the people. It's just so amazing how he still managed to use his skills and knowledge about writing to let the Filipinos and foreign people to know what the society is like. And it is really disappointing that he failed to both duels between Antonio Luna and Wenceslao Retona. Even worse, the jealousy between him and Del Pilar for the reform movement, especially when La Solidaridad later on became a political, but Rizal's journey and travels contributed to his learnings because in every place and people he meets, he learns something new. The way he valued and pursued his love for country rather than love or marriage is admirable and truly justifies his entitlement of being a hero. Love is so important in a person as well as family, but he chose his path of being patriotic because although he values love for his significant other, love for family, or love for his mother, he still fought for his country and for the Filipinos. Indeed, it ay, indeed a national hero. Also, the novel El Filibusterismo is indeed a great novel, for it is crucial for Filipinos to see what our society really is, how it runs, so people won't be gullible and unaware of the truth of the society they live in. The fourth topic, an exiled life of Jose Rizal, will be discussed through microscoping. During Rizal's exile, he was really still optimistic given his situation. Though he is in the times of hopelessness, he still managed to use his time in things that could be helpful and useful to him, such as being self-reliant because he is by himself, resourcefulness, and practical use of time. I also admire his self-discipline and behavior, especially in the situation where he had to be alone, away from people, and for having hope and faith in the capabilities of the Filipinos. When Rizal did not give his support to Dr. Valenzuela, I think that it is just the right decision because they have to ready their people, funds, and arms to have a really great foundation for their aim of Katipunan Revolution. It is better to be prepared than to fight having nothing. It is indeed a rational and good decision making. You can't just fight because you have the courage to do so, but you also need to make sure that you have the things you need in that fight. And the way Rizal answered Valenzuela's question decision on whether he wants to be a college director or direct a revolution is something that I commend because he is indeed flexible and he manages his time just right. It is not easy to do both things, but he is willing to do it confidently. That is a good quality of a person, especially of a leader. But it is just odd for Rizal to be detained because of his knowledge and participation to the revolution, and the way the Spanish tortured some people just to get evidences against Rizal. Rizal's decision-making, proper use of time and resources are a good quality, and it helped him learn throughout his exile, as well as when he decided to go against Dr. Valenzuela because he knew what is the right thing to do for the meantime. The last topic is the justice and death of Rizal, which will be discussed through telescoping, including his struggles, the trials, and how he died. Rizal was accused of 3 crimes, namely rebellion, sedition, and illegal association. I think that Pasiano had a really severe torture just to get evidences against Rizal. But after many investigations, he was proven guilty and was charged and held in prison. There follows his execution in Bagumbayan. I find the death of Rizal and how it happened as very dramatic, sad, and I kind of feel that he is too young to die. Those people behind his death must be so eager to kill him, and they succeeded in killing him, but still I'm kind of glad that those who killed him granted his request not to be shot in the head and back, or to kneel and be blindfolded. It was really sad knowing that he is too young, because he can still travel, discover the world out there, and learn more. But even though he died, his death really made the Filipinos prideful toward nationalism and fighting against the Spanish people. Though his writings relating to Philippine Revolution made our country independent from Spain, and it made Filipinos empowered to stand up and continue the fight.